Divinitas salutaras, vativas libertas.
Hello everybody and welcome back once again to Let's Play Rome Remastered. Right, this is going to be a short-ish session, about 30 minutes, because I'm got a few things to do. I've just finished work, off to a friend's house, cooking, need to get my recipe prepared and do some shopping to get the ingredients, so don't have very long at all, but I thought I can squeeze a 30-minute session in here to give you something this evening rather than nothing. So we'll see what we can get done in half an hour. My throat is not complying. I've just done some exercise not so long ago as well. Seems to have given my throat a bit of something to think about. Right, okay, anyway, so since the last session, I've done all of the taxes and all of the building work, as per usual, and I've done a little bit of the army movements so that we can kick off this session with an end turn to see what the enemy do. So what have I done? Well, the army from that was being amassed here is now very much ready. You'll notice that we've got a little bit of a cash shortfall compared to the 110,000 we ended the last turn on, and that is because we have spent 50,000 of that bribing this man, Votoporix the Briton Cooley, Vorti for short, 4-star general of the British. We have put him at the head of this army, which we have kind of cobbled together in a quick fashion, and he is going to make his way due north to attack Lebanon. And if anybody gets in his way, hopefully he'll take them down, and the fellow British folk will be horrified to see one of their own leading our mighty forces. So that's what do they call him? Voti. Yeah, that'll do. Anyway, so that's that. The general from Numantia is called Agar of Oscar, and it was bugging me. So we're moving into Oscar, because he's Agar of Oscar, so why not? So we'll move into the front lines. At Oscar, he will oversee the constant recruitment of forces here, which we may use to top up any forces in this locale. So that's that situation sorted. We've got a couple of British armies lingering in the vicinity. They may merge together, form a full stack, we'll have to see. But waiting in the wings to deal with said British forces is, of course, the now landed on Gaul shores, Chiron. He's got his mighty host, he's got his mighty force. This man who understands logistics, understands strategies, and that's about as much as he understands, with his one command star, is now ready to rock and roll. So we have actually lost some men from our forces. And I'm thinking that's probably because we came across the sea in the deep area rather than going around the outside of the coastline. I'm thinking that's the only thing I can think of why we would have lost some men to attrition. So who knows, but we've lost 6 men from each of these units, and we've lost some elephants too, which is rather disappointing. But hey, such is life. So he's now ready to rock and most certainly roll. So we'll see where the British move, and his first task will be pretty much to mop up as many of these British armies in the field as possible, thin the herd, leaving the space free for other armies, such as one headed by Giscon, possibly, if he can be bothered to remove himself from Nabo Martyrs, because he's got a little bit comfy there, you see. And if not him, then certainly Sakabal, who will be coming shortly. They can start capturing the settlements, and we'll use Chiron as the old hammer to take care of the troops in the field, leaving the path free for capturing the settlements. So that's the plan. We shall see if the enemy complies with us by making themselves vulnerable, or whether they do something quite useful, making our life more difficult. We'll see what they do in the next turn. We continue to merge our units here in Patavium. Manius has made it now, and Extra troops are making their way, horses soon to be there, slingers soon to be there. So he'll have a semi-decent army there to be the warden of Italy and just making sure that the British or the Greeks don't get to anything too frisky. Right, so we're going to kick things off today by announcing the arrival of one Bisaltes the Butcher. Our leader is home. He has returned to Carthage. He shall have his triumph. It's a pity we don't get some kind of a cutscene here, but we don't, so there you go. But he is arriving. Look at him, he's just taking his time, observing the great city. He hasn't clapped eyes on it for many years, and he hopes it lives up to his expectations. He enters, and funnily enough, he's not actually one for governorship. So he's not going to boot out Yeehaw from his governorship, because he would then have to deal with the menial tasks of running a city. He's 56 himself. He's a conquering hero. He shouldn't have to busy himself with worrying about the intricacies of managing a city. No, Yeehaw can do that. We are simply the face of Carthage. Run your decisions past me first. Other than that, you can just do as you will. Alright, leave me here to bask in my glory. I've earned it. So Bisaltes now retiring to enjoy life in Carthage. Unless, of course, something happens anywhere not too far away that will call him back into battle to save the day. He'll keep an eye out for that, but for now, he's fine. If the Greeks attack, for example, he might just decide to dust off his armour and teach them a lesson too, but for now, he's happy to retire. In the meantime, though, this place is rather crowded with family members sat on their laurels growing fat, and he's not happy with that. So he's going to boot out these two eventually. Of course, Abdesir is going to govern Rome, as was discussed in the last session. So he's not been booted out by any stretch of the imagination. He is being honoured with that great task of managing what is now our second capital, and he's happy to take it up with his 7 management. But these two lazy swines, Crisis Castulo, aged 39, and you, Hermon, whoever you are, age 43, what earth do you think you're doing? Many Carthage men in the past have shed blood, sweat, and tears for this empire. You sit here on your laurels and do nothing? Not on my watch, says Bisaltes. So in the next session, or before the next session, he will give them a dressing down, and he will send them off to do Carthage's work. And for their crimes of laziness, he's going to send them to the front lines. Egypt is looking a bit devoid of family members right now. There's 3 frontier settlements and only 2 family members. One of them is 52 himself. So one of them can get his backside over there and help out. The other one, we'll decide later. Maybe Gaul, maybe Italy. Maybe deepest, darkest Nepta. I'll teach you to be lazy on my watch. Anyway, they're going to be put to good use very shortly. Okay, so Bisaltes is returned to Carthage, caused quite the stir. Much celebrations is being had, welcoming our noble leader back. The populace, all 21,000 of them, are probably rejoicing right now. It's a joyful, joyful occasion, as it would be. But unfortunately, not everywhere across the empire can have such joyful times, because we're under attack, of course. So let's get to those areas where we're under attack and let us deal with them most harshly. We have to be very careful, because there was an enemy assassin lingering near us. So our family members could be at a very small risk of being executed, assassinated. So we've got to be a bit careful there. Perhaps Bisaltes, as his parting gift to the empire, might want to channel his inner Theages and perhaps commission the recruitment of many assassins of his own that we can use to support us in our battle against the British, perhaps. We'll have to wait to see if he actually pulls his finger out. But for now, he's got bigger things to worry about, like his triumph. Right, death stalks the land in Memphis. Whenever... It's just Manius Pilatus has got married. Very good. Why would you not want to marry a man who can bend himself in many an angle? That's a very bad joke, I do apologise. Nero Hostilus gets a retinue expansion. So does you're going to need it, pal, because you're off to the far reaches of Egypt. You're going to need as many men in your entourage as you can get. So Carbal Gaddis gets a merchant. Boschman the mean, and Tamnit gets a herbalist. Very good. Very good indeed. So, we don't worry about such trivial matters such as potential riots. No. Why would we worry about potential riots when we've got bigger fish to fry? Very, very big fish, I might add. Ha 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 ha. Come hither. 2 more turns, actually 3 more turns if we have to build the rams, of course, and this place shall be ours. And it looks rather undefended. Have the British ran off scared with their tails between their legs? Perhaps they have. Perhaps they have. What a crying shame. Right. We cannot recruit or retrain any more of these troops. So what I'm going to do is merge them. All these guys are fine. They're fine. They're fine. Elephants are fine. So we've got space for 3 more. 3 more units, which will have to be infantry units of some such. So 3 more spearmen, I suppose, because they're slightly better in combat than the Iberian infantry that we've got. So 3 more units of them, and then we shall have a full stack army once again, and we shall have to decide what Giscon is going to do. Is he going to live out the rest of his days in there? Is his lazy trait going to be the defining factor? Beauty, extravagance, drinks. I mean, he is a confident commander, so it makes me think that perhaps he won't sit there on his laurels for too long, but what he might do instead is spy and look for an easy victim, not too troubling, not too taxing, and then just pounce on a city or two just to help him, just to put his hand in, keep his hand in, you know. Don't want to be accused of being too lazy now, do you? So, you know, just do a little bit of legwork, nothing too taxing, just a teensy little bit of legwork, you know, just to say that I did do something. Actually, I took Lugdunum when it had only 1 unit in it.
Mighty General.
Right, we've got our first sniff of blood. And this is probably going to be the only battle of the session, considering how short a time we've got. But hey, let's just bring you a little bit out here in the middle. Just making sure that there's no hidden enemy between sort of here. And there doesn't seem to be. So, yeah, the British forces are a little bit fragmented. They've got a decent amount of troops in number. It's just where the hell are they, is the question. Who knows? But anyway, let's just plonk you in there like that. Let's plonk you in there like that. Come on, hurry up. There you go. Excellent. So we've got nice, big, strong numbers of puny infantry there. Some good shield. Going to get rid of the peasants very shortly. 1 more turn for those to be ready. 2 more turns for those. We're in no massive rush. So they're going to get sorted pretty swiftly. So yeah, very good. Very good there. So yeah, I mean, this is the only place that we need to focus our efforts on, really. Down here, of course...
Ready to sail. Set sail. Ready to
Abdesir is coming back to Rome. In the meantime,
Sire.
we are preparing a contingent of peasants to help with the public order when we remove our entire force, because we're going to need some protection in Rome, some garrison to quell the numbers and the populace. So hopefully 4 units of peasants will do the job for now. Excellent. So yeah, a couple of turns and Sakabal will join the fight. I'm sure he's chomping at the, or champing, I think is actually the saying. He's champing at the old bit, you see. So anyway, let's not talk anymore. Let's get our battle done for the day. And it's going to be against this fella, Captain Cockolitanus. Yes,
My liege,
against that man.
prepare for battle.
Oh, I'm prepared. This is where the British fall now. They're going to rue the day they made us angry. You're going to do something, Britain. Do it. Not in half measures. If you're going to attack, attack with your full force. Because if you don't, you're going to regret it. Now, this is supposed to be Kieran who is the general, but because Yuptan has a higher command, he automatically becomes the general in charge. So it looks like Kieran has been gazumped.
This is a day of battle.
This is a day of battle. Talk about stating the obvious. Sorry, Yuptan. Sorry. But you just did. Okay, so we've got our Sacred Band and our Peony, which are phalanx units. So even their chosen swords, as good as they are, if we can form a phalanx wall and pin them in and use our elephants and horses for flanking, should not be a problem. Should not be a problem. We do have another unit of Balearic Slingers that we can recruit. I can't remember the name of the settlement, but it's a settlement that Yeehaw used to manage. There is a unit of slingers, Balearic Slingers there. So we're going to take them up, and hopefully they'll join this army as quick as they possibly can. But this entire wall, pretty much, should be...
Units.
Yeah, should be entirely...
Infantry. Units.
what do you call it?
Units group.
Phalanx troops. So...
Units run.
So yeah, get them in phalanx, and let's just cause some hell. You know what I mean? Just cause some devastation, because that's what we like to do.
Units.
I like to cause a bit of a scene,
Units run.
and we don't have to rush this because it's important that we don't lose too many men in this fight.
General.
Ultimately, because these troops that we're actually fielding in this battle are not going to be easily replaced. You know, elephants we can't get other than in our homelands. You know, Sacred Band cavalry we can only get in Carthage at the minute. Sacred Band regular infantry we can only get in a handful of places. So it's not as if we can just top them up if we lose them. So we've got to be careful not to throw too many lives away needlessly here in these kind of fights, to be honest with you.
Units.
So let's just take our time, not pausing it of course, but just take our time, let the enemy sort themselves out. They do have slingers and they do have a height advantage, so we're going to have to be a little bit careful that we don't
Units.
and again, as I said before, I need to make sure that I don't
Units.
end up being too tardy with my use of horses here. It's what I have done in the past. I have kind of been a little bit slow. Slingers.
Units.
Okay, I think we're just going to march our men in, basically, into a line out of phalanx. Get them running to start with, and then we'll put the phalanx down.
Move at the double. Units. Units. Phalanx formation. Infantry. Move it there. Quickly.
Slingers, slingers. Chosen swords going in. Warband.
Units! Units! Charge!
This is a big charge. Warband are routing. It's the chosen swords. They're now routing. Elephants in.
This general is the perfect enemy.
Oh,
He does not
down he goes, down he goes, down he goes.
killing him.
And they're routing.
The enemy general was a fool. He sacrificed himself rather than
Oh, they're withdrawing. Their troops are withdrawing. The slingers are trying. They're charging my elephants. As you do. Naturally.
As enemies, these men are perfect. They are running from the battle in terror.
Yeah, we have lost a few. What we need to ensure that we have in this army is actually a Karugan. I've just realised we don't have a Karugan. I don't think in this army, because we could do with replenishing as many of these men as possible. So we'll have to have a look across the rest of the realm and see where we can get a Karugan from, because we could really do with one.
Wipe them out! Wipe them out! Take them! Quickly! Enter! Wipe them out!
But yeah, otherwise I don't think it was too bad a battle. Lost a few horses, not too many, but a few. Elephants were getting stuck in. Elephants were loving it. We didn't even lose a single one. They had a right time. Trampling and tossing men aside. They loved it. They loved it. They're still loving it, look. The two generals just sat there chilling out. Might get involved now. Why not? Look at this. They're just shepherding them off the map. Just a little bit of shepherding. Okay. Okay, let him go, lads. Let him go. Oh, I can see a few people being tossed around by elephants still. Let him go. Let him go. Let him go. We've taught my lesson. We've taught my. Oh, no, okay, fine, fine.
Victory lies in your grasp, and there is nothing the enemy can do but run.
Well, that's what happens when you have high quality units. We've lost 58 men by my dodgy maths. 58 men, and we've killed nearly 2,000. I'd say that's pretty good result. How many casualties healed? A decent amount, actually, including some of our calves. So that's not too bad. I just need to check if any of these two guys have a Karugan. I don't think they do, and if they don't, as I said, I think we could do with one. Because preserving our elite troops, getting many of them back as possible, is going to be definitely most useful. Right, so that's one down. Let's move you up here. Let's have a bit of an eyeball. Not many of the enemy to speak of. Not many at all. So he's off up there. Right, just check
My liege!
if any of these guys have a Karugan. He doesn't. I mean, he's the general ultimately. He does have a Karugan, which is probably why we got some of our men back on that one. So we do have a Karugan here, which is good. Our fears have been quelled. So now we move on.
Sire! Prepare
Next
for
turn,
battle.
we take Lugdunum. Oh yes. Yes, we do. Right, Sir Carball, you better get a move on, mate, because by the time you get there, there'll be nothing left for you. There'll be nothing left. We're making glorious headway. 2 turns we're taking that. We're taking this very shortly. There'll be no left. Oh, happy days. Right, okay, so we do need to tidy up some of the housekeeping. So I'm going to do this on camera. It took me about 4 minutes last time, so I'll finish up the housekeeping for this turn, end the turn, see what the enemy do, and then we'll end it there. Next session tomorrow, we'll dive in and do some more smashing of the Britons. Right, tax rate good, building good. Tax rate not good, building good. No building there. Tax rate is decent though. And we're going to get an academy here, I think, now, because we do have a family member. So let's get an academy. You know, Corduba's been it's been one of our original settlements. It's a shame that we don't have a place of education here. So let's get that in Corduba. Building and tax rates are fine there. Carthage, no building work there. Let's go for a market. Market good for money. Here we're recruiting, building there, and we can retrain as well. So we'll do that. Just got to keep an eye that we don't. Make sure that we don't lose that. We could, if we were that bothered, get a couple of rebels in there, just in case we don't want any rebellions or any issues there. So we'll just get some mercenaries rather, and just keep them there for now until the situation sorts itself, and then we can disband them. Just a temporary thing. Farming. Why not? Cirta. This is where the slingers are. So we do that. Get the slingers. Thank you very much. We'll recruit a ship. A quinquereme. A sturdy ship. And then we shall transport the slingers up to here to be either used in this army here, or ultimately they'd be better served in this army. And then we'd have elite elephants, elite cavalry, elite missile troops, and elite infantry. As we've just witnessed, they barely broke a sweat. I mean, I know we weren't dealing with a half-stack an army, but even still, you know, in armies gone by, we would have lost more than 60 men. This is going to be the army that pretty much single-handedly, I'm assuming, it's going to smash the British into the ground. It really is. So yeah, get the slingers up there to be used by Yuptan and Kieron. That seems like a good plan. So that's happening as we speak. Get a bazaar or whatever the hell it's called there. Tax rate is not good. Or at least public order isn't, but we are upgrading the settlement there. Tax rate's fine. Okay, moving swiftly on. Corralis fine. Carthage and Thapsu's fine. Lepsis fine. Right, Lilibayum not fine. Or is it fine? I don't think there's anything else we want here, to be honest with you, for the time being. So Lilibayum is fine. Sana certainly not fine. Holy smokes! It's just sort them out. What the hell do you think you're doing with your flipping red face? C was fine. Thebes, plonk that down. Memphis still. Aha! Excellent. Excellent. We can now retrain all of our men now because the plague has ended. Happy days. Good old Zixus 52 factionaire for the time being, making sure things are running smoothly there. Right, buildings, roads, and buildings here, farms. Yeah. Let's just sort the infrastructure out. Seems the Egyptians have neglected to feed their populace. No wonder the people are happy to be under our rule now. Nothing to do with the fact that we have a full stack here and keeping them under the thumb. No, they're very happy to be under. I mean, we've embraced their god. Let's remind ourselves what their god was called. We've embraced him. Or her, or it. Really harsh of me, isn't it? What was he called again? Set. That's the fella. Yeah, we've embraced their god of Set, and they have embraced us, and we're giving them food. What more can you want from a ruler? Hey? I ask you. Anyway, my plan off camera is to start recruiting here another army. Because I want a fort here. I want 3 armies in this area in case the Egyptians turn on us. I don't think they will, to be honest with you. They're moving away, which is a good sign, but just in case. And now that we can recruit Sacred Band here and the plague is finished. Oh, and the plague. As soon as the plague finishes in Memphis, we'll do the same thing. So, yeah. Didn't the plague in Memphis end recently? And it's now come back. I think that's what's happened here. The plague in Memphis finished. It's alternating. It was in Memphis, it went to Alexandria, it left Memphis, it's now back to... It finished in Alexandria, now back in Memphis again. Game of tennis. Game of plague tennis. Right, excellent. So everything has been done there. Right, moving across to Italy, we're recruiting peasants because the public order in these places is not as it should be for some bizarre reason. These people are getting a little bit shirty and it's not to our liking. So we are going to get execution squares here because these people obviously need a little bit of discipline, a little bit of fear instilling in them to keep themselves in flipping line. Right, a temple in Rome. Excellent. Right, Ariminum. Peasants getting done there. That's fine. Building. Right, Massalia building face. Take that down to orange face. Okay, Narbo getting some spear militia. And building is fine. Taxes fine. Right, excellent. So that's the housekeeping done. Taxes and things. I may have missed something, but hey, we're just flying through it because I want to end the turn to see how we're going to pick things up next time. So, without further ado, let's see what the British conjure up. What we should be doing is we should be taking our diplomats a bit further out now. They can have the seas. I say that. We do need to get ships across to Britain eventually. Right, okay, the end turn has ended quite quickly, so what we'll do is we'll finish the session off by charging north to Lemonum, which means a couple of turns' time that will be ours. We'll push him up towards there. Likewise, we'll keep you about there for now. And we shall lay siege. In fact, we won't lay siege to Lugdunum, because I have a question to ask, and you guys in the comments might be able to help me out here. Do we lay siege? Or do we actually, as originally anticipated and planned, attack the armies in the field first? Because we could forget that. I mean, we're going to take it eventually. It's not an issue. But perhaps we would be better served going round and attacking this guy. Thin the herd a little bit. But get rid of this guy as well before we take it. I think that might be a better plan, but I'm open to suggestions, so if you've got any sort of thoughts, comments on that one, let me know. But otherwise, things have smoothed out a little bit here, and I'd suggest that we have probably now got, unless they start to bring down units that we can't see, I mean, they're still on the rise, they're still on the up in pretty much all of their rankings. But give it another handful of turns. We start taking their lands and start continuing to thin their military forces. I think that graph is going to start to do a sharp decline. I'm hoping that's the case, because whilst we have... I'm going to say, whilst we have a kind of a level playing field in terms of strength comparison, we're less likely to get the ceasefire we want, but we are actually classed as stronger now. Give us the rest of the settlements in Gaul, give us the settlements in Britannia, I think we're going to be even stronger, and they'd probably accept whatever peace we throw their way. It'll involve some money, bit of sweetening the deal and all that, but hey, why not? So, folks, I mean, if all goes according to plan, if this campaign... If we maintain a peace with Egypt, if we maintain an alliance with the Greeks. We capture the settlements that we aim to capture from the British, which is another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we manage to capture all of that, which probably won't take as long as it might sound, and then we broker a peace with them. If we get to that stage, that's the end of the campaign. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Spanners could be thrown into the works between now and then. Right, we've gone over time slightly, but hey. City expands, I'll deal with that. Alexandria has now got a plague. Oh, for God's sake. Oh! What did I say? What did I say at the start of the session? We have to be careful that we don't get generals assassinated. And look, Theages will be spinning in his grave. I can't wait to see Ollie's comment on this. Theages' son, the lazy Giscon, the man who orchestrated the defence of Narbo, has been assassinated. What a sour note to end today's session on. I think repercussions springs to mind. What's good for the goose will be good for the gander. I think it's time that Bizaltus the Killer, as he was once known, lives up to his name. Assassins, assemble. Until next time, see you soon.